Another episode of Power of Business today. Marketing in your small business is always a challenge as we think about how to reach a new target audience. Power of Business is sponsored by and partnered with the University of Nebraska Extension, North Dakota State University, the Vermont University, and E-Extension, with partial funding from the Southern Rural Development Center. And I'm excited today because I've got a colleague from North Dakota State University with me, Glenn Muskie, who's going to be presenting and talking about some marketing tips and things that people can do to enhance their marketing strategy. Welcome, Glenn.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here. You know, marketing is something that small business owners struggle with all the time. And they think about marketing as something that is big or scary, or they think about marketing very small. And so I came across a quote that makes marketing very simple. It's everything you do. From the day you think of a project and you want to take that project or that idea, that opportunity, and see if it's viable, and then you actually produce it and start selling it, to the last time when you're out servicing it or you're talking to that customer, it is simply everything you do. And so often we forget about so many of the pieces that are involved with marketing, Connie. We just ignore them and skip them and stuff. So remember that. It's easy. It's just everything you do. How do you do it? First off, you have to know the landscape. And this slide just sort of breaks it down where you have the industry, you have your competition, you have your customer, you have you, and then finally you have your niche. So many times when I'm working with small business owners, as they come in and we're working through their business plan, or they're working through just an idea or an opportunity where everything got to the business plan yet, they just tell me, I can sell to everybody. Everybody will be my market. Well, no, there's some competition out there. Well, but there's, they'll say, I'm better than the competition. Well, what does your customer want? Have you defined the needs? Do you really know what they're asking for?
Well, and that's really hard, Glenn. I think as small business owners think about that, to really hone in and focus on who their customer are.
That's right, because the customer is not everybody. Even everybody who takes soda. Everybody drinks soda, but you're not going to get everybody into your store to buy the sodas and stuff. There's a lot of other people out there. And what does the customer want? Take the example of soda again. Some want water, some want carbonated, some want hot tea. There's all sorts of alternatives. And that's why when you think about the competition, you have to think more broadly, that the competition is not just your direct competition, but it's other ways they can spend their money. And maybe it's not a soda. Maybe it's some other type of spirited beverage or something like that. Then there's you. What do you really want to do? Now, business owners, as they think about their idea and their opportunity, will think about the market, but so often they get so excited about the market that they don't think about who they really are, because they're going to have to sustain this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that gets tough. And so you really got to have that passion for it. And finally, from all that, you find your niche. And notice how in those circles, your niche is a small part of where we started out. And so when you think about marketing and you think about building your business plan, right away you're starting to shrink that, but it's realistic. And that's what we're asking them to go for.
Having to think about that big picture is really part of that whole concept of when people get started with this marketing effort.
It is. And the next thing, I'm sort of just taking some things that I've run across in the years, it's being found. Mm-hmm. It's not, and we've heard this over and over and over, it's not build it and they will come. Being found is being visible. It's not the same, finding you is not the same as being found. Finding you is the steps you're taking, search engine optimization if we want to go to online market. But finding you is also having a map. Finding you is on the back of your business card, putting that map so I can find where you actually are for those people who maybe don't carry a smartphone or just forgot it when they left home or something. And so really being found needs to be a mix of traditional and online marketing. It's not one or the other, it is both. And marketing starts with the business owner. It's plain and simple. Also in being found, obviously a large part of it is being online. You have the traditional side, and we list there, you have promotions, you have publicity, you have PR. We've had those for years. They're still important, they haven't changed. We just need to continue to try all of those means, but also today we need to add that online presence. And that online presence, as we say, starts with a website.
Very much so, Glenn. You know, it's really a challenge for these small business owners to put these pieces all in place and really focus in on that marketing.
And it's a huge task, and that's one of the reasons that we're here today, to help you understand that there are all these pieces, but also if you go and follow up and look at our sites, to know that there are resources to help you. You know, this is a huge task and people get scared about it, and that's why sometimes their marketing effort, they're frightened by what they can do and should do. They're afraid of doing something wrong, but you just got to try it. But you also find your resources and you work with those resources. You have to brand, and we've worked with branding. Who are you? What do you want to represent? And you build that over time. It's reputation, it's colors, it's look, everything else. And there's a great YouTube video that we've done previously on branding that you can take a look at and get more information on. And then the whole idea is in your marketing, and this part of marketing is once they know you're there, and you see how many times it takes, 3 to 5 times, till they're even going to remember that you exist. I have a lot of business owners who do a one-time splash, spend a lot of money, and then they say, well, nobody ever showed up. Well, that's because I'm not going to remember you the first time. And then it's going to take 7 or 10 times for them to take action. And what do we mean by taking action? And you have to be very explicit in your marketing about what that taking action is. Is it, here's free, buy, purchase, shop, you know, tell them what the benefits are. All of that is trying to not only bring them to your site, your store, whatever it is, but it's to have them do something. Click here, get this free, stop in. Those are the call to actions that need to be included every time you market. And you include that in your elevator speech.
And you include that in all of your taglines and in the content that you create in an online environment. And it really is just that thought process, Glenn, as small business owners continue to massage this effort to reach a different audience.
Exactly, exactly. So and this says it so very well about support. If you make a sale, you can make a living. If you make an investment in that customer, you can earn a fortune. We want, with our marketing effort, to do more than have a one-time shot. We want to bring that customer back again and again and again. And as we'll talk about later on, not only bring them back again and again and again, but have them become our spokesperson. That's the best marketing we can probably do, is when they start telling our story for us. A little bit about service statistics. Before the internet, a dissatisfied customer, we always learned, told about 10 people, and up to 13% of people would tell 20 people, and you just think about those numbers. But look at today and hear the stories of what the internet can do. If I'm unhappy, I now have a worldwide audience, and we're not afraid of using Yelp, TripAdvisor, or the websites of the companies themselves and stuff. And so that is key for business owners, to be listening to their customers and working on their service statistics, hearing what's being said about them, and not just hearing, but then stepping out and rectifying it. They can be your biggest fan. That's who we're really working for, is that customer who was unhappy. If you work to satisfy that customer, understand that customer, they could be your biggest fan, even more than that longtime customer who's in all the time but never says a word about. I'd rather have the customer who says, I'm unhappy with, and then when you solve their problem, they come back to you and say, I love you. And they not only come back to you, but they go out in the marketplace to other people, their friends, family, etc., and tell them what a great job you did. And that's great marketing.
Well, and in today's world, that's how I either find a location or potentially decide on buying a particular product, is by the reviews that we have. I depend on those reviews from other customers that have purchased that to make my decision if I'm going to either go to that store or purchase that product. So we have that available to us as small business owners, and we need to utilize those reviews and recommendations.
And you bring up an excellent point. Small business owners need to be in touch with what those reviews are saying, and they need to work very hard on that. And you also brought up a second good point, Connie, is that when, even for those of us who are going into a store, are probably stopping and going and doing an online search about what do we think about this product. Even though we're going into the store to buy it, we're researching it before, and so that online capacity for your reputation and your brand is very important to you.
Well, and we have to ask our customers to give us those reviews, because oftentimes they're not going to. The big box stores continually say, give us a recommendation. We want to be the #1 store. Just tell us how we're doing today. And so we should not be afraid either to ask for those recommendations, particularly if we feel like we're doing a good job.
You are so right about that. Don't be afraid to ask. Your customer, actually, they like that, to be asked. And it gives them a chance, because sometimes we saw earlier that not everybody complains, although they do have a complaint. Well, this gives them a chance to open up and say something, and you have a chance to fix it before it becomes a bigger issue and stuff. So what we're talking about is forming relationships. Learning about what that customer wants early on, before they're even a customer you're trying to find out, and then you're nurturing them, you're keeping in contact with them, you're telling them what's going on in the store. And again, I know that small business owners, entrepreneurs are constantly, but that takes so much time. Well, it's really crucial, if you want your business to survive and succeed, that you form that relationship over time and that you depend upon them, because they can easily today go somewhere else. And that is so true with the online presence that others can have. But they also, most of us have cars, we have good roads, they can drive down the highway and are not afraid to do that in the least. So as Connie points out in the forming relationships here, suggest that they do a review of you. And as the little caricature in the bottom says there, word of mouth is one of the best ways that we can sell our business. So, and then there are some other marketing elements that are just, you've heard them over time, the profit, the price, the packaging, the promotion. Don't ignore those. When I said marketing is everything you do, I mean it's everything you do. It's from the concept stage to the finish stage to the sales promotion to what it's packaged in. How many times have you bought something just because, hey, it was really packaged nice? And then Warren Buffett in there talks about price. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And what you want to do as a business owner is you want that value to exceed that price. And then you have a happy customer, and you want to remember that. And then you also remember that credit card slogan about memories are priceless. Today, a lot of it is experience. And so what is the experience that customers are having? And lastly, measure what works. This is the ultimate, the closed business side, because maybe we didn't hear our customers. Maybe we didn't correct what was going on. So you have to always be asking yourself what's working and what's not working. And we call it A/B testing. Put out 2 ads, just slightly different, and see which one gets the biggest return. Maybe it's the call to action that you change on them. Maybe it's color. Maybe it's what papers you put it in. So don't do so many that you get confused and you can't figure that out. But you're trying to get the biggest return, biggest bang for the buck. So you need to measure what works, and so often that's the part where we start to fall down, is we don't measure. And I can be accused of that. When I helped a small business owner one time and we were putting ads in different papers, we did nothing to distinguish which ad went in what paper. So what do you think happened? All these ads came in, he had great response, but when we got done, I couldn't help him say, oh, this was the better paper to put the information in. Then A was better than B, or B was better than A. So you always have to be thinking of that even as you design the message, whether that message is verbal or whether it's some type of written, whether it's online, offline, makes no difference. So those are some tips just about the basics of marketing. We're not getting into this in depth. We could take these subjects along much further, but for more resources, we have more at thepowerofbusiness.net. You have Connie's and I email address on this, and we would welcome you to join us at thepowerofbusiness.net and join us on Friday 15s, the first Friday of every month. We do live chats with business owners, and you can hear them talking the words, giving you the thoughts about what helps them be successful, what works for them, what didn't work for them. And so we would encourage you to come join us sometime every first Friday, every month again. And the powerofbusiness.net is the address you can register at. We'll also have a newsletter. We have tips out there. It's just a great place for you to find information.
Very good, Glenn. Awesome information today for small business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking at really trying to enhance their marketing strategy. And if you listened at all, there's some really great tips to help you move forward in reaching that new audience and enhancing and strengthening the effort that you're doing. Thank you.